You didn't think I was gonna come back, but I did. Creepy. Dig with everyone, welcome back to my sitting room. My name is Diesel, and you are as always with your schmost Malcolm. That you are. Today we're going to be reviewing a book. That book is part 2 of The Wrath and the Dawn, The Rose and the Dagger, by Renee Ahdieh. I mean, I said it right in the first video, so if you want to go back and... It's part 2, you know what I'm talking about. This is what Tumblr means when they say white people can't pronounce anything but white people names. So, what's it all about? Well, I'm not going to tell you, because if I tell you and you haven't read The Wrath and the Dawn, then it's all just going to be spoiled. So, if you haven't read The Wrath and the Dawn, I will put a link somewhere, maybe in the screen, maybe in the description below, about the video I did about The Wrath and the Dawn. It could be anywhere because I can't speak English, can't pronounce names, and also can't work technology. So really, it's like, where will Diesel put it? Not even she knows. And if you have read The Wrath and the Dawn, then you probably will know what The Rose and the Dagger is about. So we're just gonna get straight to the thoughts before anyone gets any more confused than they already are. So, non-specific, non-spoiler section, people, folks, thing, I don't know. I overall enjoyed this book. It wasn't the best book I've ever read, but it was still enjoyable. My problems with it were, I mean, minor enough. The storyline, just like The Wrath and the Dawn itself, it's forward moving and you're constantly going up. This is a roller coaster analogy, friends. You're constantly going up to that pivotal hill, but it's not until near the end where you like fall off the edge, in a good way, and things really start to get going. And I think because this is the second book in the series and it's the final book in this story, I don't know if there'll be more stories from these characters, but for this portion, because it took so long to get to the drop-off point, everything after that kind of was over too quickly. So, like, things that I thought should have been major plot lines, because there's kind of more than one climax in this book, I just felt were kind of glossed over, and that was a shame because we had worked so hard to get there. Also, a problem I had with it was there's a lot of sadness and misery and like loneliness and unknowing in this book. Not in terms of things like tragic happening, because there's not a lot of that, but you can really feel a very large portion of the characters start out the book in this way and go through the book in this way. And I guess it's a testament to Renee's writing, but I was like so entrapped in the feelings of sadness that it was kind of it was very heavy, and I was just begging to get out of this like fog of emotion so we could move on and I could feel some kind of character hope again. We were stuck in that fog for a very long time, and it wasn't until things started to move that we were out of it, which I appreciated. But once we were out of that, it was more bearable to read. Overall, it was a decent ending to a decent story. The characters were fabulous as always. Some of my favourite characters weren't in it as much as I would have wanted them to be, but that is the look of the draw. I think things tied up really neatly into a bow, apart from the fact that like one of the major plot lines I would have liked to have been a bit more ran home solid with. I mean, it finished like it wasn't left unexplained, but I just thought, oh, we could really have used a bit more detail on that. But however, I'm going to go into my spoiler ranty part now. So just know, I guess, if you're not continuing on with us, I would recommend that you read this book if you want to. It was an enjoyable story. Renee is a really good writer. And it's like an intriguing thought. And I also kind of changed my mind about Khalid while I was reading it. So character progress, Yay! Okay, talk to you later. Let's go spoiler section. If you're coming, take my hand. We'll go together. If you're not, stay here. It could be dangerous. Okay, you guys. When we're in the palace, and we're in the Sultan's palace, and we're hanging out, and we're kind of like, Jahander, what the fuck have you done? That's your kid. We know that you're power hungry, but dear Jesus, that's your kid that you're sailing up the river. And the Sultan is like laughing to himself about how he's so funny. And he is like calling his daughter in, and you know, we're thinking it's Yasmin. And we all know from the last book that Yasmin, not really supposed to like her, a bit iffy, and you're sitting there and you're waiting. You're waiting for her to come with her smug face and her smug attitude, and you're like, okay, she obviously wants Khalid, that's fine, whatever. And then that evil fucking bitch, Despina, appeared in the doorway. I was like, what? It was one of those books where I was vocally giving out to the point where my mom was like, will you shut up? You sound crazy. I was like, I'm just so betrayed. I'm just so betrayed. Because I was wondering, like, why would she marry Vikram, and why would Vikram agree to that? Has she not told Vikram she's pregnant, or like, what? And then when I found out that Vikram, obviously, like when Despina arrives in the fucking doorway, you're like, wait a minute, where's Vikram? My all-time favorite character who never speaks. He can't have portrayed Khalid as well. That's not possible. He would never do that. So then he's like in a jail, and I was so pissed off at Despina. I was like, if Shahrazad doesn't kill you, I'm gonna reach in that page and wring your little maiden neck. Just like, and then I'm so glad I have this to talk to you guys about, because none of my friends read this book and it brings me sorrow. Then, when it flipped around, I was like sitting at dinner being like, my favorite character in this book, apart from Victim, just turned out to be like a crazy, like, what's the fucking word, espionage spy who like infiltrated the castle, and she just got a novella about her love with Jahal, and now we're like here. I don't even know what I'm supposed to think. How is my favorite character gone to my biggest hate in this whole fucking world? And my parents were sitting at dinner with me being like, we don't care. But I cared, you guys. I cared. And I was just ranting on about it. Because I've never felt so betrayed. I was like, how could Despina do this to me? Me personally, not the characters. Me. I had supported her for all this time throughout this book. And then suddenly, she was just like, this is a 3-minute rant about me ranting about Despina. I just want you to know that. And like, oh, that, right in the heart. And then, obviously, Vikram's in the jail. And he's like, oh, I had help. I had forgotten, or don't even actually remember in that book, that Vikram set fire to the swords. I thought that he had done that, but I didn't realize that he had magic to do that, so I was like, what's happening? And then, when it turns out that she actually hadn't betrayed us, that she was working with them all along, and to save her family, which she had in the palace, and I was just like, what? My head spun, you guys. Shahrazad said it in the book, something about her neck hurting from her head spinning so much, trying to keep up with Despina. Those words spoke to me, because I was like, you mean I haven't been betrayed? And then do you know who I felt betrayed by? Renee. Just like that time that Pierce Brown betrayed my very heart with the thing that he did. Still haven't gotten over that. I was just like, who am I supposed to believe anymore? I just didn't know. I just didn't know. That was my main that was nearly a 5-minute rant about how I felt betrayed by Despina. But did any of you guys feel that? You were like, what's happening? But then when Jalal, these are white people names, can't again pronounce non-white people names. White people can't pronounce non-white people names. I was just like, their reunion was so cute. It was just adorable reunion. Also, oh my god, when what's his face died, what's his name? When Raheem died, I saw him get stabbed, and like, I knew he had like the relationship with Ursa or Ursa. And I was like, oh no, she's gonna be so sad, but I didn't really care that much until we went back to the tent and she came to see his body, and Tariq, white people, and Khalid were like there in the tent, and it was like, oh, and then like Jalal was in the tent, not Jalal, yeah, it was Jalal, and he like had to leave because he got choked up, and I was like, oh my god, here we go. But the way Renee described Ursa's feelings was just like, I don't know if any of you have ever had deaths in your family. I am long enough into adulthood to have had a couple of really close to home deaths in my family, and the way that Renee described the feeling of seeing someone that you love that much laid out in that way, knowing that if you touch them, they're not just going to wake up and speak to you. It was like she just perfectly encapsulated the weight that you have on your chest and on your heart when you see someone you love in that position. And I cried. I'm probably going to cry now. Emotions. It was so, like, the writing was just so fucking brilliant that I was just like, damn girl, you can write. Even though I don't forgive you for the betrayal that we just talked about a minute ago, but like, wow, it was on point writing. Somebody give that woman a writer's gold prize star, because it was just amazing. It was just amazing. I thought the part where that happened, where Khalid destroyed the book, I really thought that would have been a more like, the book has been destroyed, hallelujah, like, but it wasn't, and maybe it was because I read through it too quick, or maybe I'd have to read that chapter again to really appreciate it, but I really wanted, like, after the book had been destroyed, to see how, like, it was quite dramatic, which wasn't a bad thing, but to see how the people would then react, because we never got to learn how the king, who everybody didn't like before this, suddenly, like, wouldn't they have to have changed their mind? Wouldn't they have to have, like, I would have liked to see Khalid and Shahrazad explain to the country or whatever that Khalid had been cursed and he wasn't just like killing their daughters because, you know, fun times, homicide, woo. I think that was a bit left open, and you can't just go back to your kingdom and be like, oh yeah, we took down the Sultan, we put Yasmin in his place, which, by the way, fucking yes, awesome. But I just would like to have that wrapped up. Like, the ending was beautiful with the child and the story, and it was just adorable. But I want to know, do people still hate Khalid? Do they still think he's a vicious bully king who, like, can't do anything? Who knows? I would have liked to see that part wrapped up. But other than that, I did quite enjoy this book. The first few chapters were so mind-numbingly lonely and painful, though. I didn't think I was going to get through it. I was like, when is this going to end? It's a bit like the opening chapters of The Fifth Wave, where you're just like, this is a lot. Especially Khalid's loneliness. It was driving me mad because, okay, like Shahrazad had her thing going on with Tariq every time. But Khalid was just so lonely, and Jalal's crazy fucking, like, obviously anger over Desvina being sent away, like, was really making me super sad. And like, he would go out and help all the people build the things, and then he would be attacked on the street by Jalal because, you know, bro was annoyed. And like, I just wanted him to get back with the woman that he loved, and that we wouldn't have to feel all this pain and misery anymore, because I was drowning in his misery when he kept thinking about his mom, and he kept thinking about Shahrazad, and like his besto mate Jalal was being a jerk, and Vikram wasn't there to protect him, and it was really sad. And that part where he looked over his shoulder in the middle of a battle and Jalal was obviously off defending himself, which he had every right to do, but I was just like, he said he wasn't going to watch your back, and now he's not. But then again, he was trying to stop himself from being like skewered on a sword. So this has been all over the place. This is probably about a 15-minute long video of me talking about betrayal and sadness. If you had thoughts on this book, please let me know what they were. Also, if you've got book recommendations like this, I can't remember what that was called, 1,000 and something. I reviewed it anyway, you'll know what I mean. I would like to know. And I'm going to go to bed because my thoughts are obviously not coherent anymore. So until next time, I hope that you enjoyed the Rose and the Dagger. And the next one that we have to wait for is still ages away, but that is the second Ember in the Ashes book, which I'm excited about. They kind of go hand in hand together, I like to think. Anyway, I'm going. Until next time, talk to you all later. Garev Mahagoth for coming. Salon. Never coherent thoughts ever.